I told you, this thing is bigger than Nino Brown, and I got a list of proof.
Order.
If I'm going down,
Order in
I'm
the
taking a
court.
whole lot of
I
people
said
with me.
order in the court.
Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
To this day.
Nino Brown Boxing, I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LWBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, man, it's been a lot of talks about Canelo Alvarez, the WBC, and his franchise belt. And to me, man, it's absolute bullshit. You know, some people, they're taking a stance of, like, fuck all the belts. Basically, as fans, they're throwing the prestige that the belts carry. They're throwing it in the trash. Me, on the other hand, like, it's difficult for me to do. But before I get to why it's difficult for me to take that route, basically a quick recap is Jermall Charlo has been the WBC mandatory. Prior to all of these changes, Jermall Charlo held the WBC middleweight interim title, and Canelo Alvarez was the WBC middleweight champion. Plain and simple. Well, Canelo Alvarez didn't want to face Jermall Charlo. So the WBC was in a position before when Canelo had that belt. The WBC said that basically they were going to force Canelo to face Triple G. Canelo said he wasn't. He vacated the belt, and he was pissed off with the WBC for a long period of time. Finally, the WBC got back into Canelo's good graces so they can get that sanctioning fees money, and now they're doing whatever they need, whatever they feel is necessary to maintain their good relationship with Canelo Alvarez. Now it brings us to present day. Present day, the whole situation with Jermall Charlo, the WBC had to do something. So instead of them doing what they were supposed to do and just flat out strip Canelo Alvarez, they decided to elevate Canelo to the franchise champion and make Jermall Charlo the WBC middleweight champion. Like, I don't like when people use the term regular champion because that just reminds me of the WBA regular champion too much. But whatever. Canelo's a franchise champion. Jermall Charlo's the WBC middleweight champion. Now, I read online basically that the franchise champion can't even lose his franchise championship belt, well, in a fight. Meaning, like, let's say, for example, Triple G and Canelo decide that they want to face each other. Let's just say, you know, for the hypothetical. If Triple G defeats Canelo, Triple G doesn't become the WBC franchise champion. What I read says that Triple G will become the Diamond champion. And we all know that the Diamond belt, it means nothing. It's basically a trophy. To me, it's no different from that medal that they put around the number one contender's neck after he wins a title eliminator. Now, the way that I see it, Nino Brown Boxing is Canelo Alvarez vacated his belt. He vacated his belt, and Jermall Charlo is now the champion. Cool. All of this franchise belt, to me personally, doesn't mean anything. Now, I can't go down a road of throwing all the belts away. The belts don't mean anything. Let the best just fight the best, because that doesn't carry as much weight. I say that because if belts did not exist, if we didn't have any of the sanctioning bodies, we didn't have one belt, 3 belts, 4 belts, whatever, you'll have guys, boxing will be, if fans dictated the fights, boxing would be just one big popularity test. And the perceived number 1 and number 2 guys will fight. But people will be left on the back burner, the perceived number 3, number 4, number 5 in the division. Like, we won't have the opportunity to see who we perceive to be the number 4 guy at a weight class face the number 1 guy, and come to find out that number 1 guy, you know, he can't hold his own against this number 5 guy. To me, this is a prime example, and it really hurts my heart to say it, but that's what happened with my man Jarrett Hurd. Jarrett Hurd was the unified 154-pound champion. Julian J. Rock Williams was simply known for being a great fighter, but the highlight reel of his career was being knocked out by Jamal Charlo. No one was calling for J-Rock against Jarrett Hurd, but guess what? J-Rock came out victorious in a high-risk, low-reward fight for Hurd, and we realized he's not the number one guy. He's not the number two guy. J-Rock is. So the whole notion of getting rid of these belts and it being like fights being dictated based off the fans and who the fans want to see, because if the fans got exactly what they wanted, we would have had Jarrett Hurd versus Jermell Charlo, and J-Rock wouldn't have played any role in this. Most likely after that fight, Jarrett Hurd would have probably moved up to 160. We would have never known how good J-Rock is because he wouldn't have had the opportunity to face Jarrett Hurd. So it's just like the whole situation. I mean, that's just my analogy of why I can't go down that road of eliminating belts. That's just how I feel about it. Now, when it comes to this Canelo Alvarez situation, Canelo is not a champion. Well, he's the WBA and the WBA IBF Unified Champion. He vacated his WBC belt. It's as simple as that. I'm not recognizing the franchise belt as a championship. And maybe you want to look at that as elevated status. All right, cool. We can look at that as elevated status. It's prestigious to be called the WBC's franchise champion, or it's a prestigious honor, but it's not a championship belt. It has no actual lineage. It has no history behind it. This belt doesn't tell you that you're the best guy in the division. It just says that you are the current guy that's the ambassador for the WBC. Honestly, I look at this franchise championship, it's just a title for an endorsement. To me, it just seems like Canelo Alvarez is a brand ambassador for the WBC when it comes to this franchise championship BS. And now, if that's the route Canelo wants to take, he possesses the diamond belt he has the diamond belt with an endorsement with the WBC. To me, that's all the franchise belt is. It doesn't carry any more weight. My thing is, well, if that's the case, shit, the WBC need to be paying Canelo some endorsement money. Because paying sanctioning fees on his belt, like, what's the purpose? Like, you don't defend it. You can't, but they're going to strip you of the title? Like, okay, I wasn't going to lose the title in a fight, so the only way I can lose it if you strip me of that name. Like, to me, this shit, all of it's dumb. The fact that Team Canelo agreed to this, obviously, man, the only thing it tells me is that they're ducking Jamal Charlo. Like, you can't even call yourself a champion anymore because you can't be, if you can't lose the belt in a fight, you definitely can't unify and become undisputed with it. Like, it's not even a championship. You defend the championship like you're defending home turf. It's just, you have to defend it. And when you defend it, you have a chance of losing it to your opponent. And since Canelo Alvarez will not lose his franchise status to an opponent, only thing it is just a title. That's all. It's just an actual title. It's a brand. He's a brand ambassador for the WBC. So now, moving forward for Jamal Charlo. Very unfortunate that Jamal Charlo was not granted the opportunity to face Canelo Alvarez. It sucks. But guess what, man? You got Brandon Adams tonight. Only thing you can do is move on, handle your business accordingly, and go try to collect those other belts. Right now, if I'm Jamel, I'm looking at like, well, Canelo doesn't want to face Demetrius Andrade. I'm going to make it known. Now, I saw an interview after Jamal's weigh-in. He said he's not calling anyone out. Everyone knows that he wants to fight them. But I'm making it known. Demetrius Andrade, like, I want all the smoke, let's unify. And I will pull, what Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury did to Anthony Joshua, pretty much putting him on blast. I would do the same thing with Demetrius Andrade. Canelo don't want to fight us. He's a bitch. He vacated his belt. He's ducking you. He said he wanted to be undisputed, but he's showing us that's not true. He lied to the boxing world. He lied to the fans. I'm the WBC middleweight champion. and I'm gonna show you guys how it's done. It's really, to me, it's really that plain and simple. But we'll see what happens. Best of luck to both of these guys tonight, Jamal Charlo and Brandon Adams. Me, it's not a popularity contest. Of course, I like who I like, and I have a bias for the people that I like, but ultimately, I just want the best man to win. And whoever that is tonight, even though my prediction that it will be Jamal Charlo, if it happens to be Brandon Adams, I won't be mad. I won't be mad at all. This is Nina Brown Boxing. Shout out to the WBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm out.